got a lot going on right now, all over the world, and I am so encouraged personally to just see people's thirst for freedom. I think there's some great principles that we could maybe do well to adhere to. In what I do in my life is it's so easy to have or to feed on the energy that comes from anger, or the energy that comes from something new, the rush of that. That's why some people buy things, right? To get that energy of something new, and we chase that energy, and that energy it's a very temporary thing that tends to ultimately suck life more than it gives it. It'll give us temporary life, but because it's exhausting, it sort of creates that manic depressed. I've got a new cause, I've lost it. I've got it, I've lost it. And we get it, and then we suck the life out of it until we've got everything we need or everything we can get, and then we lose interest in it. We're looking for the next thing to grab a hold of. And a lot of people are like that with relationships. They want to suck energy from someone that can give them energy, and when that energy's gone, that person's new and fresh and exciting, and so they suck the energy, and once that energy's gone, they're boof. And it's often because we're not following that path of peace. We're being empowered by these temporary things, and I think that same thing is something that in our global freedom movement that we would do well to acknowledge and to give a little bit of thought to. I've seen in some of the rallies, a lot of people get up with a message, and it's a good message, maybe not. It's maybe not my thing, but they get up with messages, and often what's happening, I find, is people draw the energy out of that, the latest thing, and as they suck that energy, it makes them feel in charge, like, whoa, let's go, and so they're ready to go, and they're off again, and then they hit the next thing, and they're flat again, and they need the next. Oh, I've heard that. I need the next message, and I think as we go down those paths of organising rallies and things around the world, it's very important, in my opinion, my humble opinion, to keep the focus on freedom. It's the main umbrella of what is there, and many things will come under that, many agendas, many voices, many people that are wanting to do their thing will come, and they will give energy, because when you've been on this path for a while, it can be tiresome. You feel maybe flat in yourself a little bit, and so when somebody comes along all charged up with the latest message, it's very easy to listen to that and to draw energy from them and think that energy is going to keep you going and keep the cause going, because it looks like the cause is slipping away through your fingers. And I want to encourage everybody that's involved in around the world in these things. We don't need energy to feed off. The energy we have is truth and peace. And when we walk in truth and peace, it's not what we do, it's who we are. We are peace, we are truth, we are life. And I think as we just follow that peace, follow the peace, the path that is just there, and sometimes that path is going to be lonely. Sometimes that path is going to mean that we're misunderstood. Sometimes that path may mean that we stand alone. And I have a video on here of Phil, one of the organisers where I am here locally in Canberra. There's times where there's just been him and one other person standing outside of something that he's protesting, that he's for. He's for freedom, but something that he's standing for. Other times there's been 1,000. It's an excellent video if you want to catch the gift that's in Phil of not quitting. But I just want to encourage us all, don't go looking for the next cause, the next thing to feed off. And you find often that people become in these what can easily become fringe, start to feed on dramas. There's so much of it out there. I mean, on our group, we try very hard because we're for freedom, we're for life, we're for peace, inspiration. So we're not for politics. We're not for people with a cause. There's plenty of other places for that. So on our global freedom movement. We're trying very hard to keep it to that sort of thing, because it may not be as immediately popular because everybody loves the drama of the latest thing. But we're not there for that. We're there to just be a steady influence of showing people there's stuff happening all over the world. There's change happening all over the world. We are for freedom. We are for life. And so, personally, I want to encourage each and every one that's watching this. It's very easy to get caught up in this conspiracy and this thing's happening and that's happening and we need to, and there's so many things, you're like, whoa, it's coming at me from everywhere, and it's so easy to feed on that. And when you feed on that, you will suck the energy out of that until you've got what you need out of that. That's the next, throw that aside, get the next thing, and you're constantly looking for energy. And if you're doing that, it's a manic depressed ride. You're going to go up, down, and ultimately that is exhausting. It's exhausting into the very spirit and the very being of who we are. And yes, of course, there's those things, and yes, of course, it's fine to listen to it, but don't let it be your source of energy. Don't let it be what feeds you. Those of you that are running these freedom rallies around the world, far be it from me, but I think one big thing I've observed here locally is causes. People with all sorts of fringe causes coming in, and they're maybe fantastic causes, but they come in and they inject them in there and they start to try to become the voice. And I think the leaders are tired and the leaders are looking for something to keep them going, and they allow that. And it's not wrong, but as that often comes in, it can marginalize a lot of people who don't necessarily agree with that. So I think it's important the voice is there to say, hey, we're for freedom. These people are allowed to have their causes. They're allowed to speak their causes, but we're not about their cause. We're about freedom. Everybody here and everybody's cause is about freedom. And I think it's very important to continue to allow that to breathe. I think it's important as leaders and as people to just draw aside, to be by your lake, to step aside from the noise and everybody that's got something to say and something to do and some sort of agenda, and to just find those ones that are of like spirit, that feed your spirit, man. Because if you get people that feed the drama, man, you're going to get exhausted. Find those ones that feed the spirit, man, and fellowship with that. People of like spirit. Then maybe you'll be with them and you won't even talk much of this stuff. But what you'll talk is, you'll just be life, because the spirit's not taught, it's caught. And as you catch each other's spirit, I call that church. You're building each other, you're drawing on each other, you're just with each other. It's like the romance of life. So I just want to put out a message to say, it's a long journey. We don't know how long it is. This could be days, weeks, months, years. There will be changes. Things will change and break through. We've seen that in places like New Zealand. Of course, they say, it's not the freedom people that influenced that. Well, of course, it's the freedom people that influenced it. But as we go on that path, you will see changes. Again, let the changes encourage you, but don't feed off the changes to keep you going. Be in your peace. Find your peace. You are here because of freedom. People can run off and lose interest, but they'll be back because it's not going away. It's not going away until something's done about it, and we're doing that. So evil, what's what the Bible says? When the enemy comes in like a flood, God will raise up a standard. You're that standard. I am that standard. There'll be a flood of filth. There'll be a flood of oppression that's against freedom. But when we just say we stay in our peace, we are that standard that will rise up in ourselves and say no more. And it's not our voice that brings the change, it's the spirit of who we are. Yes, we'll use our voice, but it's the spirit of who we are that unites. It's the spirit of freedom that's going to bring others to us. So these fringe things, and maybe you've got caught up in that, and it's pushed away people that you care about, it's pushed away the crowds, it's pushed away. You wonder why are they leaving? It's such an important message. I don't want to leave it. Stay calm. They'll be back. Because evil's not going away. And most people, they don't care about freedom until it directly affects their life. And I think the other thing that I wanted to mention is inside of all of us, there's that inherent thing for normal. People just want normal. If we had a normal world right now, people wouldn't care about freedom. They think they have freedom. The illusion of normal, I should say. And I have to encourage you. I've put another site up. I probably got the name mixed up, but the global inflation freedom. And I think it's really important to flow with that, to understand that normal is being redefined. Your life, more than likely, you can create some little bubble that's semi-normal, but the world around you, the world around us, it's going to chaos. The economies of the world, it's a bait and switch. As all this is going on, it distracts from the fact that our economies are not in a good place. And if we had freedom right now, economically, we are not going to have freedom for a very long time. And I don't want to put fear into anybody, but I want to put hope. And I want to say there are practical things we can do towards that. That's a cause. That's something that can distract from freedom. So we're not going to go into that. But what we're going to do here right now is just say freedom is the thing. But just allow some of those causes that mean a lot to you to be there. Let them speak to you and unite with the spirit of them, but don't let them be something that distracts and sucks your energy. And don't be someone that needs a cause to get energy. Find the spirit of who you are. Sit in the love of life. Be with people that love you and care for you and can build that into you. So, whoever watches this around the world, I know we've got all sorts of different countries that are coming on board. I want to encourage the patriots, the people that are really doing it. They're standing there, and you're probably not going to get a pat on the back, but you're buying freedom from your children, for your children. Maybe nobody will ever know the name, know your name, know my name. No, it doesn't matter, does it? We're in it for freedom. Just be encouraged. Try not to feed off of a cause. Try not to feed off of the other people's energy. Get your own. And get others. Fellowship with those of like mind, those of like spirit. Even if you're not talking the cause, just to be with them, you will be refreshed. You'll be refreshed. I like it as a tug of war. If you pull on the rope, they pull back. So if you're going to pull on the rope with the authorities, they're going to pull back. So instead of getting in a tug of war and trying to pull and keep this thing going, be peace, be life, be freedom. And you'll know what that means for you when the time comes. I like to say I fellowship with that which brings me life, that which is life. I give life to it and it gives life to me. That's what I fellowship with. If it's something I have to give life to, I don't have that to give away. I guard my life, the spirit life. So God bless you. We're all together in this around the world. Awesome to see global unity. And I'm sure that things will just keep going on a steady path of change for freedom.